Hello, this is Mr. Painter with the Week 7 Quizette. The first thing you should do, as always, is go ahead and put your name, date, and team and color on top of your paper. And when you got a little extra time, put your seat numbers. So right now, again, put your name, date, and team color on the paper so you can get credit for the work you do. Alright, here we go. Monday. Okay, easiest way to work these things out is just to go ahead and read it one time to yourself. So I can get out my pointer, here we go. The volume of a cylinder is 602.88 centimeters to the third power. Remember, if we're talking about to the third power, that's to the third dimension. So we're talking about volume here for sure. Find the height of the cylinder where the radius is 4 centimeters. Now, as I was reading the question, I noticed something a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and read this one more time. The volume of a cylinder is 602.88 centimeters. Wait a minute. They're saying the volume here is already 602.88 centimeters. Now, the question asking next is find the height of the cylinder. So we are looking for the height. So I'm going to leave that as a question mark. We don't know what the height is. And the last part that's given is where the radius is 4 centimeters. So the radius there is 4 centimeters. So radius and 4 centimeters have got to be connected together. Alright, so the first thing we got to talk about is when we're looking for cylinder here, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight there, we need a formula. And a lot of students are having a hard time, well, what's the formula? Here's a very easy way to remember the formula. You know the first part has to be a volume equals. Everybody knows that part. But it's the parts after that, students tend to forget. Now, whenever you have a cylinder, you have something called a delicious pie. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a pie in there. And this is the food pie, of course, but in math, we write pi as kind of like two-letter T's put next to each other. Now, looking at this pie, it looks kind of boring. It needs some flavor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it some flavor by adding 2 raspberries. So 1 and 2 delicious raspberries. Which means we have our formula of volume equals pi times raspberries to the second power. Now, if it were me looking at this pie, this looks like really like a pizza. It doesn't have like a third dimension to it. Because remember, we're talking about a cylinder, not a circle. So to give it the third dimension, we're going to give it a little bit of height. So there we go. Now we got a complete cylinder there. And then in order to have height, we need to multiply times h. So here we go, times h. That right there is a very easy way to memorize the volume of a cylinder. And that right there you have to memorize. You got to know it. And if you don't, you're not going to be able to even start the test. Alright? Okay, our next step is to take what we do know and start plugging stuff in. Now, notice here, they said the volume is 602.88. So volume 602.88 gets plugged into V right there. So now that V is now 602.88 equals, now pi, automatically you got 2 options. You can use 3.14, which is easy to do, or if you're lucky enough, you can use the calculator button on that one. The next step is, where's the radius? So if you check our annotation here, it says radius is 4 centimeters. So just take the 4, plug it in for radius, plug it in for r. So radius is 4 to the second power times our height. We've got a problem though. they didn't give us the height because the question is asking for find the height. Alright, with that being said, we're going to leave that as H right there. What this is going to turn out to be is one of those questions where you got to work out both sides. Basically, you got to solve for H. H we don't know. The easiest way to start working it out is to go ahead and take care of that exponent. That is 4 to the second power. So 4 times 4 is going to be 16 there, times, we don't know the height, and 3.14 also comes down because we don't, we just bring that down as well. And the other side, leave it alone, 602.88. So just to recap here, all we did was take 4 times 4 and change it to 16. Now our next step is to start taking the opposite. Notice these are all multiplications here. So we're going to take the opposite of, let's say, 3.14 first. And opposite of multiply is, you guessed it, we're going to divide. So we're going to go ahead and divide everything out until we get that H by itself. So divide 3.14, and whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side. So we're going to divide 3.14. Okay, now this is where a calculator comes in really handy. You got to plug it in carefully. So what I would like you to do right now is go ahead and pick up your calculator, and you're going to start plugging it in. So again, take out your calculator right now and check and see if you get the same thing as I do. So in my calculator, I'm going to press 602.88. I'm pressing the dividing key now. Divide the 3. I'm going to press the decimal button underneath the 2 button. 14 equals, and it rounds really nicely to a whole number of 192. Okay, so 602.88 divide 3.14 is 192 even. Equals, on this side here, 3.14 divide 3.14 just cancels out. It cancels to 1. We don't need that anymore. Equals the remaining number of 16 times H. Already, this is looking pretty easy. So it's asking us 16 times something gives us 192. So in order to break the multiplication, we're going to do the opposite one more time. Opposite of multiply is to divide. So we're going to divide 16 from both sides, divide 16 here, and divide 16 here. So once again, right now, take out the calculator. Okay, get the calculator in your hand, and go ahead and work it out with me and see if you get the same thing. So in the calculator, press in 192 divide. You're going to press the division key, so 192 divide 16 equals a whole number of 12. We're going to get 12 equals 16s cancel out. Well, check that out. 12 equals H, and H was height. So therefore, let's see, let's back up a little bit right there. Therefore, the height is 12, so I'm going to get my highlighter tool right there. Okay, that's the height. And that's a T, by the way. It's not a good T. There we go. Alright. There we go. Beautiful. And hold on. We are looking at centimeters to the third power. And because the height is just one dimension, it's the side, just call it 12 centimeters. So I'm just going to go ahead and go cm next to the 12. Don't go cm to the third power, it's just cm. So 12 cm equals the height.